Okay, welcome back to the channel. Here we are. We're gonna be using the DV1 and so we've got the DV1 for bass, and we're going to be using the DV1 for clear in this particular video. So this is just going to be literally, smashing some paint on and job done. So it is just, I guess, painting a bumper at the end of the day. But same with anything, we need it to be really good. We don't want it coming out looking rubbish. So here we are, we're just tacking the bumper before we're actually painting. So hopefully this will just the bumper was actually, we had a few little rub throughs, and they so basically the rub through, we use a what's known as a rub through primer, which is in an aerosol form, but sometimes on the ends of the cans they can sometimes spit. So what you'll see me doing here is I'm just making sure that I'm rubbing off any kind of excess dust or anything like that from the cans, but on this particular job they actually spat a couple of times. So what you'll see me doing here is literally just rubbing that out completely, because when you have a spit in a can and you paint over it, unfortunately you'll still see the lump. So this is a 600 grit soft foam pad, and you'll see me use this probably in a lot of my videos, because if there's ever any dirt or anything I'm not happy with the job, you'll see me, I go to these quite a lot, just because they're brilliant, to be honest. So same as any job you'll see me really do, you'll normally always see me start with the edges. It's probably just good practice to get into. It's just a habit that I've got into, and I normally try and just work from that. So it just makes sure that your edges are covered. There's been time and time again when I've seen other work come in, or other painters, and you've got no material or no paint on the edges, and when you go to put the bumper back together and then you bolt it on the car, and then the last thing you see is you spot the edges and you just think, why did I just not put enough material there? And you end up really fed up with yourself, because it's one of those where it's just such simple thing just lets the whole job down. So I normally start with something like that, and that's quite a good practice to get into. So if you're young, fresh into the industry, you've probably already been told by whoever's kind of teaching you or mentoring you in the trade to always start with your edges, and it's quite common, not with painting, but there's other aspects of work that we do that you can take that into as well. So it isn't just your edges, but always a good starting base. So this is the DV1 base coat gun, and in all honesty this is my go-to gun. This is my I absolutely love this gun. So what you would have seen from my other videos is I'm actually trying to step away from the bigger size guns, and you'll see when I actually clear this, you'll probably understand a bit more why, because you'll kind of see the overspray in the booth, and you'll kind of understand what my thoughts are, what my concerns are. So moving forward, we're trying to step down to slightly smaller guns. So going back to this being a DV1, this is actually, I didn't like the devilbiss before this. I tried their GTI Pro Light and I just wasn't a fan. So the problem with that is, I'm not going to say that they're terrible guns, because I was possibly wrongly advised on what I should have actually been using. So not using the correct setup for the correct material, or the way that I spray, it's going to play a massive factor in whether I like the gun or not, and did it perform for me, which ultimately it didn't. Whereas I actually got these DV1s, and I just can't fault them, to be honest. They're absolutely blinding. So yeah, when you actually find and get a really nice gun that you actually like, you can't fault that. It kind of almost like a match made in heaven and you know, a spray gun is very personal to each and every individual painter. It's hard to just, if you pick up somebody else's gun and just try and spray with it. Sometimes, you know, I did it years ago and I ended up in so much trouble, just because the gun was not set up to me. I got a massive run in the clear coat, and it was huge. You know, it was absolutely crazy, but that's what happens when, you know, we was rushing, don't get me wrong, but it happened. You know, I shouldn't have been using somebody else's gun at the end of the day, thinking that we were just trying to get ahead. So, you know, when you get that right combination of products and materials, spray gun, and obviously how that spray gun performs for you, if you can get on with it, if you like it, then, you know, that is always you know, that unlocks new potential really into performance. So, you know, when you've got all of those things kind of connecting and coming into play, you might actually start getting a bit more confident. You might feel like you're actually becoming a better painter sometimes. I say that quite funny because it's more of a confidence thing, you know. Sometimes when you get the right products, the right spray guns, what works for you, yeah, you know, you might feel like you're a better painter because you just get that bit much more confidence from it. You know, it just helps. So this particular job wasn't nice. I'll show you some before pictures of this particular bumper as well, and you know, this thing was ready for the bin. By all means, it was ready for the scrapyard. But here we are, we've saved it. It's going back on the car, and you know, is what it is. So as you can see, like I said before, you might see me do this quite often, and all it is sometimes there's little bits of dust or little bits of dirt that land in the paint, and you know, this isn't, you know, somebody might say, oh, this is just because of he's not spraying in a full enclosed booth. No, I want to just really kind of make the point of that's not the case, because this happens to people in full size booth as well. And you know, if they say it doesn't happen, it's not true. Unfortunately, I've worked in many other booths before, and yeah, you know, you get the same sort of issues, and we shouldn't be using that one again. Yeah. When you drop something, yeah, you don't really want to be picking it up and using it again. So another good thing to take from this video, really, there's certain things to do and don't. So, you know, this is I believe this is the last coat of base coat that we're going to be putting on anyway, so this is more of kind of like a wet 3/4 coat, just kind of not dusting it on, but a little bit more distance from it, and that should be us all covered up. Normally with the we use solvent base, and normally within kind of 3 coats we're normally good to go. Sometimes some of the blues can be a little bit see-through, so, you know, hit and miss, but just again, always check. You know, you've always got to check. Luckily for me, I've already sprayed this colour a few times, so we had spray outs, and on the back of the spray out cards that we do, you know, if there's a colour that takes ages to cover, what we'll do is we'll just make a note of how many coats of paint need to be applied to actually you know, get full coverage. So that's the base coat all done. We're going to be moving on to the clear coat, which the clear coat is again DV1. We're using a DV1 again. So I've actually got the 1.2 C1 air cap. The devilbiss have just brought out a new C2 air cap, which, in all honesty, you know, I tried it, it wasn't for me. It just pumps out a lot more overspray, and obviously you guys know that is a big thing for me here. I actually had the guy next door come round to me that afternoon, and he said, mate, I've got a banging headache, all I can smell is what you've been spraying. So, you know, I don't know what you've done or changed, but can you not change it and go back to what you was doing? So I literally tested the air cap for possibly 2 to 3 jobs, and I had to just put it away, and I fully understood where it was coming from, because the full-size guns, unfortunately, in here you can see they pump up that's so much more material, and as you can see, it is going everywhere but on the bumper. So I'm really trying to nail down going to like a midi size gun. So we're stepping down slightly in size in gun, but I really don't want to compromise the finish. So that's obviously one thing that I'm really working on. And the material that you use on full size guns compared to the midi guns I've been trying out is absolutely unreal. The difference is actually quite frightening on if you took it over a course of a 6-month period or a yearly period of how much painted materials you'd be saving from going to a full size gun to a midi size gun. It really is quite phenomenal what's actually achievable. So just because you might have the top gun or whatever doesn't necessarily mean it is the best for you. We're all here just trying to pull out a nice job at the end of the day, and all the guns are very different in the way that they spray and the way that you apply the products. So another big thing about what we're doing is this clear coat that we're actually using is the multi-mix, and this is the original version, the MS version. So we don't actually have the HS version in currently, because I've still got quite a fair bit of this product, and I actually really like this. It's a slightly cheaper end clear. It's not going to be your absolute wow factor in clear coats, but the fact you can really hammer a couple of coats of this stuff on, and you can really get a nice finish. You can definitely more than get an OEM kind of peely finish. You can achieve that quite easily, if I'm being honest. So when this was actually bolted back on the car, I think I had one nib in one side of it that I kind of nibbed out and just polished that area. Other than that, this bumper was actually bolted on, and that was it. It was done. We didn't really go all out sanding and polishing the bumper, because it come out really nice. As you can see, this is the second coat of clear, so really hammering that clear on, and you can do that with this product. So far I've not had any issues with it. I've actually had this on a car from the guy next door. We must be going on possibly about 9 months or so now, and it still looks fantastic. So Multimix is a brand, for anyone that doesn't know, by English manufacturer. So not just the fact that the English manufacturer, just the fact that it's always nice to support homegrown businesses and here in the UK. So with everything else going on in the world with raw materials and things, is it possibly a good thing to be supporting a homegrown business? It probably is, really. And this clear coat, it's available to you, not just the trade. Outside the trade, people can get hold of this clear coat as well. There's a few different avenues you can go down to get it. And like I say, it is genuinely a really nice clear, especially for the money. It's a ridiculously cheaper end clear, but performance wise, I can't fault it, really. I really can't. So it's not bad. The only thing we did have is in the cold winter we had, I was painting in, I think, -2. I painted some motorbike panels, and it took a good couple of days, because they were fiberglass. You can't bake them so much, really, and it took about 2 days to really fully try and cure through, which was a bit slow, but it was really cold. So it's hard to know sometimes, but other than that, this actual clear coat now, especially now we're coming into the warmer months, is absolutely gorgeous clear coat. So you're going to see a couple of pictures now of the end result, and on how bad this bumper was, and you'll probably think, you know, that was ridiculous too. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed the video, guys, and you know, give it a thumbs up, a like, share it, subscribe. If you hit the bell button, then you'll be notified of every time obviously there's a new video posted. So we're trying to get through some more of these, and yeah, you know, smashing on some clear with a DV1. Cheers, bye bye.